What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the AF Minicast. I'm the Graphic Gangster, Small Arms Danny, the Bearded Guy Treadway, and then back to his kitchen table, Mr. Cory G.
Yeah. Ooh. I mean, I'm kind of close. Ooh. What up, your boy Cory G? We are back for the best podcast on the app and sometimes on YouTube. All right, back to the Chancellor of Events, Danny Walter. You're small.
Yeah, I am
So
actually
small.
a little bit small today, but you are coming down from your 190.
Yeah.
So you're 186 and a half
Yep.
right now. So
I am 3
you're
pounds
about to-
heavier than Cole Susak.
That is facts. I weigh less than G right now.
Cole's a CrossFitter, so he's getting lean and mean.
Yes.
So why don't you give us
Hey, listen, every one of us went through a CrossFit phase. You did.
Yeah.
I did. Treadway hasn't, though. And Cole's in his right now.
I generally really like it. I feel so.
Well, yeah,
fucking
so did I.
athletic.
So did Danny.
Yeah. I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out pretty much.
Yeah.
So 186 and a half right now.
Yep.
What are you doing right now? What are you testing? You got a vacation up on the docket. What's your plan for that? Why don't you talk about that strategy right now?
Yeah, so going into Marco Island, which I've never been before, so I'm kind of excited about that. With Madeline and Andon and Rachel, of course, she's going to go there too. And so I'll do the same thing I did. It was 2 years ago. I went on like 3 vacations and got leaner every vacation. And so that is my plan, to come back tan and better than I am now. Right now, I am okay and pale, and I am going to come back tan and better is the plan. So I'm not really sure what the workout situation is. I think there is a gym on the island. The islands are like 3 miles long, so I'm pretty sure I can go make that happen, which is the plan. And then, I'll be lunging or rucking or something down there on the beach. But I'm just going to probably take a bunch of our new protein bars or the plant protein for busy diet, depending on what the situation is. And then just make sure I can go find a steak at night. So nothing will really change. I'm going to take similar like vacation rules, meaning like I could have some drinks daily if I want, maybe some ice cream. But the reality is, like, I'm so focused on trying to achieve the same type of conditioning that I did 2 summers ago. I actually, Kyle, you can see I put this on my fucking screen today, which is now, most people might think it's weird to have a picture of yourself on your screen, but above the picture of myself, I wrote the expectation, and then the 2 goals numbers that I have, and then there's a picture of the island at the bottom. I want to be this shredded, reach those goals, and be hanging out on the island. So that's the plan, and so I got to look at it. So part of it, setting that up is when I go on vacation, when I wake up and be like, well, I want to start drinking now and eat fucking whatever, at the Tiki Hut, I want to eat fucking burgers. I need to look at that and go, fuck no. Maybe just slam a Guinness and smoke a cigar. But anyway, that's my plan right now. Cool. But I'm going to come back in as good or better shape as the plan.
Cool. All right. Before we go into Road to Muscle Island and all that good stuff, so I saw something on G Social. I don't know what it is about this year. It seems like everyone's been fucking sick at some point, or it's ran through their family or something like that. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about that specifically.
Okay.
Because when you get sick, you pretty much everything goes out the window because you just want to feel better. So like when you get sick, how does that work? Obviously that's going to vary to how sick you are and stuff, but how do you bounce back out of that? Because you're going to feel small and weak.
Yeah, I would say, like, especially now that we have the hydrate, I think the last time I got actually like really sick, which I don't get sick very often, I would mostly go towards like I need a little bit more carbs and a little bit of, make sure that the hydration part is. I would say, like, I still don't necessarily go way, way off the rails because I don't want to go, I already feel shitty. I don't want to then, think that, a bunch of comfort food is going to make me automatically feel better. So I'll go more towards like, so I know historically I talk about like I don't eat rice or whatever. I might eat more carbs like that because I know it's going to hold water and like make me feel a little bit better, but it wouldn't be like I'm just going to go eat fucking Wendy's. You know what I mean? So I would say like maybe up your carbohydrates, make sure they're quality stuff, make sure your hydration's up, make sure you're getting like more sleep, and then maybe just like dial back your training a little bit. I always train. Unless I'm throwing up, I'm training. That's just my whole like kind of, I don't know, like pact I have with myself is if I am in town, I'm training at fucking 4 a.m. Monday through Friday. I'm going to train on the weekends, but it's mostly just conditioning. And like, unless I am physically throwing up or cannot walk, which there has been times where that's been a little sketchy with some of the back injuries, I am going to train. And that just like, that comes back to what I said when I was here at Beats and Barbells, the speaker series. When my alarm goes off at 3:10, I do not have a negotiation with myself. And you should not have a negotiation with yourself either if you have already made the decision to be here. That's just the decision. That's it.
Cool.
There you go.
Yo, underrated for the sick. I've been sick twice in the last month, and I'm sick right now. Vitamin D and sleep.
Yeah.
100%. The sleep, I wake up, I feel I've been sleeping more. I've been going to bed at like 10 and waking up at like 6:30. But the last 2 days, I still feel like shit, but the sleep makes me actually feel like rested.
Unless OKC's on at 10. I always know Treadway's fucked whenever I see that come up on the list of like what games start. It's like 10 p.m. OKC. I'm like, Treadway tomorrow morning. I don't know. Yeah. But I understand he's a real fan. It's cool.
All right, so we got to shift gears to creatine. Which one do you guys want to take this?
I'll take it. I'll take
right,
it. I'm a big creatine supporter. So, G, first off, I got some questions about creatine, but can you explain like why people should take creatine, like what it is, how it helps?
Cole, you are a big creatine supporter, and that's why you tweeted me like 20 years ago and asked me how to take it.
2013.
2013, so 12 years ago. No.
11.
Yeah.
11 years ago. All right.
Right?
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
yeah. It's right, 12.
Creatine, helps pull water into the muscle, make it more explosive. There's natural creatine in red meat. I don't think that this is not by design that people are being like, hey, whenever I eat red meat and all the carnivore diets and all those things about how their performance is better, they feel better. A lot of it is based around not only the fats and the calories, but also there's natural level creatine. Body makes some creatine, but the reality is like it is the most understood and studied supplement on the market. I think more people are now starting to understand that there's cognitive function and brain, stuff that comes along with it. I am not a scientist, but here's what I'll tell you. I am a bodybuilder, and I've taken creatine pretty much since I started lifting weights. And here's how you can tell that is one of these things that just always fucking work. It's like I have trained on it. I've trained not on it. I've been really strong. I've been not really strong. It's like every time I take creatine, it contributes to me getting better, feeling better, more explosive. And really when I'm leaner, like looking fuller too, because you can really see it. So look, I've asked for creatine for Christmas when I was 15. I used to buy it off somebody that used to steal it from GNC. I forget that dude's name, but if I knew it, I would shout him out right now because I was poor. I wanted fucking creatine. I have made creatine, sold creatine, and been just around creatine for fucking ever. And it is always helping. I have my youngest son on creatine, Andon. Shout out to Andon. He's 14. He's looking yoked. He's taking creatine. He's eating the bars that have creatine in them. He's taking regular creatine. AG uses creatine. Rachel uses creatine. I mean, it's just like we sell creatine at Max Effort. Like, take fucking creatine.
What I guess for someone who's never taken it and they're a beginner to creatine, what's the recommended like dosage?
Yeah, recommended dosage is 5 grams a day. And a lot of people always ask like, when should I take it? Can I take it pre-workout, post-workout? Really, just take it whenever you can remember. I've done wild creatine loads back in the day with Dr. Serrano, and I think Mario Di Pasquale was helping with that too, where we were doing it per gram, like how much I weighed. I did 37 grams of creatine a day for 2 weeks, then 25 grams or 26.5 grams a day for 2 weeks. Then I went to 15 grams a day for 2 weeks. And then 10 grams as like the maintenance. And then I went to 0 for 3 weeks. I didn't fucking die. And so I felt like amazing. Now, do you need all that? No, that was like a test subject situation. I like 10 grams a day. So, historically there was always these big loading phases. I don't know whether they worked or not, but the reality is I've taken 5, I've taken 10, I've taken 37.5. I've always felt the best at 10. I'm also drinking a gallon of water, making sure I'm eating and sleeping and training and whatnot. So I would say, like, you know, if your kid's 15 and wants to take creatine, don't start them at 10 grams because you don't know what kind of water they're drinking and if they're doing what they should. But I would say 5 grams as a person that takes their fitness serious, at really any age level past, I would say, like, when they're just, I don't know, reasonably responsible to do it, the other things they need to do, you know, I don't think you can really lose at this point.
So, like, what about, like, cycling on and off? Like, is that just by feel, or, like, do you go on, like, 4 weeks on, 2 weeks off?
I think cycling on and off is kind of, a lot of people have changed their perspective on this probably as they studied it more. I've went off and on it from time to time, but honestly, like, I don't know that I'd even recommend cycling off of it at this point. I think if you're at a 5 gram or 10 gram, you just stay on it. You know, I've went on and off it sometimes because of me getting leaner or getting bigger. Whether or not that really changed a whole bunch, I'm not really so sure. I think that really comes down to, like, maybe a mild amount of water retention, but I don't even think that's really like a whole thing anymore, to be honest. I think that mostly comes from probably the other shit that you're eating, not the creatine you're taking. And so that might have been more of a mental thing for me, but now I just take it.
So, all right. So I know me and you have had this conversation. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about, like, taking creatine? Obviously that's going to pull muscles into the water, but then can you take creatine along with the, like, the fat burner, the stim-free fat burner, and how does that work? I know we've talked about it.
Yeah, a lot of people want to ask if they can take a fat burner with their creatine, because in theory they're kind of doing two different things, right? One of them is, you know, flushing water out of the body. One of them is, you know, most notably, most fat burners, including ours, have something that kind of keeps the water flowing, and then creatine's pulling it in. I've seen, like, the last real good diet phase that I had where I did bodybuilding and powerlifting in the same weekend, I did it the entire time. I know Dustin's a big proponent of using both of them. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. At first, and it's probably because my caffeine intake when I had this view was a lot higher than it is now. And so I don't know if it was necessarily the fat burner, but it was the fat burner combined with the caffeine from also the pre-workout and some other things, then taking creatine. I felt like I had almost an overabundance of something that's flushing water and then trying to take something that's, you know, trying to pull it in. Yeah. I would say if you're, like, within reasonable levels, I don't think there's any problem at all. And I had great results because I had a really good powerlifting meet where I felt strong. And the day before that, I was in a bodybuilding show and I looked plenty good enough. I got like 4th place or whatever. So, and I was doing the combo event and I had both at that point, I think. So yeah, it's good.
Because the creatine's pulling water.
Yeah, the creatine's
like specifically into the muscle, and the fat burner's pulling the water from under the skin.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, like, the big thing that people want to know, like, the basics of, like, how I look at these products, right? And how I look, like, when I look a certain way, what I can see. Like, if my skin, basically, I'm lean and I'm looking, you know, veiny, all that stuff, I don't have a lot of water underneath my skin. That is one of the things, like, the body water is being pulled out and then, you know, you're pissing out what you're not using. Creatine is pulling a certain amount into the muscle. I think whatever is left over, you know, and what you're eating, it's going to be pulled from underneath the skin. And so you're just not, you have obviously still water in your body, but you're not holding in excess. Yeah. So, you know, is it hard to get that exactly perfect? I think a little bit, but the reality is if you're taking 5 grams of creatine, you're taking the stem-free or you're taking the regular fat burner, you're not overdoing either of those. I think you have great results.
Because I've been taking 5 grams every day, and a lot of misconception is if I would take 10 or 15 grams a day, then I'll start to feel puffy and bloated. I haven't felt that way, and I think it's because most of the time whenever people start to take a higher amounts, they're also not dieting as well.
Correct.
So they're eating more carbs and shit that's making them hold more water.
I would agree. I think that that's probably the biggest misconception that a lot of people, you know, don't understand is they go on a bulk phase. So they're like, I'm taking 10 grams of creatine or 15, or I'm loading 20 grams. They're also eating a crap load more. So really it's the combination of probably both is why they feel that way, but probably more contributed than the creatine by far is the food. Yeah. And so I would say if you're eating quality, you're losing body fat, you're training, and really you got to remember creatine is like a performance enhancer, right? Not a drug, but it's literally making the muscle have more explosive power because the water and the saturation in the actual tissue can make it fire and be stronger. And so the reality is, like, you're just aiding the muscle to perform at a higher level because you're taking creatine. There's no like, yeah, if you're up a few pounds, but it's inside of the muscle, it's not going to make you look worse.
No.
You know what I mean? It's going to make you look better.
And like while I've been like dieting and like losing weight, taking creatine, I haven't really lost any of my muscle mass. I've gained it.
Yeah.
I'm basically straight up losing body fat at this point.
Yeah.
Where if most people don't take it, then they're eating away their fucking muscle.
Yeah, I think it's going to help with the catabolism, right? Because it's like you're feeding the actual muscle like part of like what it wants to perform better. And if you're clearly drinking enough water at the same regard, you know, the reason why creatine got a super bad name is because there were some wrestlers 20 years ago that were cutting weight and were taking creatine, and one of them died. And so should you never drink water and take creatine and get a bag and run in the sauna? No. like that, but that's where this comes from. It's not from the other millions of people that have seen great effects from creatine. I'm happy that honestly, like it's all kind of come back around because I've been a proponent ever since I had the dude stealing it for me from GNC and me buying it hot in high school.
Yeah, facts.
We out here.
I mean, I started taking it at 16. I benched 335 my senior year of high school. So it fucking
that's what I'm
works.
saying. I benched 300 in high school too. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, yeah. So anyway, it's good creatine talks.
Oh, that was good.
Do you think that monohydrate is like far and away the best creatine like variation that you take?
Yeah, I think that monohydrate has been the one that's been studied the most. And look, you're never going to, like, I can't cite you one study. That's not my game. But the reality is, like, I've taken a bunch of different types of creatine, and we used to have a tri-blend creatine that was super popular here. But the reality is everything that just kept being backed up was from straight monohydrate, and that's what people wanted. So we switched and created a monohydrate because that is what people were coming and looking for. And I was just confusing them by saying, no, I like this one better. And honestly, like we all have been taking it more probably since we had the monohydrate. And I think a lot of it is just because of what's out there. So that's what I started with was monohydrate also. But I think Cole's point of like a lot of times when people are just taking creatine in general, it's the other stuff that's probably making them more bloated, not the actual creatine. I think that once again, water retention inside of the muscle to make it look fuller, denser, stronger, and perform better is what I think the whole world wants. You know, and for females that think, well, if I take it, it's going to make my muscle, you know, more bloated or whatever, is not true. Like, it's just going to make it feel firmer. And that's what you want. I mean, Rachel started taking creatine like 2 months ago, and she's lost like 2 or 3 pounds since then, actually. You know what I mean? And she was trying to get a little lighter for vacation, and she's been taking creatine the entire time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. We're going to shift gears to Muscle Island.
Sure.
Okay. So obviously you have this island that you created from ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
So for somebody who does not know you, who does not know what Muscle Island is, what is Muscle Island?
Hey, okay. All right. What is Muscle Island? Man. Well, first off, the idea for Muscle Island, like, not just like because I found an island on Zillow, but like I remember so shout out Dana White, because when COVID hit, he was going to do Fight Island. I don't know if you guys remember that, because he was like, fuck it, I'm still holding fights. I'm going to buy an island, which him and the Fertittas for sure could, not on Buckeye Lake, by the way, could buy an island and just like hold fights and like basically run their own rules. So I just remember that. And I was like, okay. I mean, it was just like one of those things, like this happens a lot in my life where I hear certain things and I like super fuck with them and I just kind of note take, right? And then I was like, so I mean, that was 5 years ago or whatever. And then obviously I already had like the understanding of there's a lake 20 minutes from the office that has islands on it that it's kind of famous for. Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, the Wolf family, which is the founder of the Columbus Dispatch, they have islands on this lake. And so historically, like mostly the Dave Thomas Island was something I already thought about. So you combine legacy family stuff that I'm aware of with what Dana said like 5 years ago, and then I run into this island on Zillow and think, Muscle Island? You know what I mean? Yeah, sounds cool. And then actually, as I'm kind of trying to imagine how Max Effort operates and CoryG Fitness, really, like how can we get and really like impact the community in a different way. And part of that whole idea was this thing that wouldn't leave my brain, which was results, lifestyle, experience. And really we could add like the experience also has like a community aspect to it, right? And so the experience part was part that really kind of came true as we were building the island. So when I found the island, I had the idea of like shipping container house, because I was focused on watching a bunch of shit on Netflix, which I thought was cool, put a gym on it, you know, and create experiences. And then when I started to understand, like, we could have literally like our customers come to the island, create an experience they could never get anywhere else, like, you know, and celebrate, whether it's the I Want Abs contest or some type of thing or whatever, it just really all kind of came together. And so Muscle Island was born out of those two initial thoughts, the challenge of actually building an island from being just a bunch of trees that sat there since 1866 to what it is now within a 2-year period or 16 months to have our first event, which we did the end of last year. So now we're going into the first actual summer that the island will be like pretty much finished. There's always going to be small projects, but then it's like, now what can we really do? What kind of experiences can we really create? And last time I checked, there isn't like one other supplement company that is really having things like this, because we're really like a lifestyle company. It's like people are pushing for results, they're living the lifestyle, and then we're going to create these experiences, whether it's at Old School Gym, the Beats and Barbell speaker series, the Muscle Island events. Now we're going to add some like, you know, events during the island too. And so it's like the party and the events with benching and pull-ups and strict curl and deadlifts and, you know, having music and food. And so that's kind of like, in a nutshell, Muscle Island is my actual personal property that, you know, that I built, but it is a company situation that is the headquarters for CoryG Fitness, and now a place where we have the events for the Max Effort Mafia. So that's the best way to explain Muscle Island. But what I want is when you come up on the boat and you jump off onto the barge or the dock and walk on, I want you to know that like we have created this experience so you guys have something to look forward to. So you have another date on your calendar. So you have something to prepare for. This is your bodybuilding show. This is your cover shoot. This is your powerlifting meet. This is something I'm providing, so it gives you another sense of urgency, accountability, and not to mention everybody that's there. Listen to me. This is the most important part. Everybody there is thinking the same thing you are. They are trying to get better. It is truly the Mafia community. Like, it is like one big like family reunion cookout. That's what happens at every one of these events, and everybody's trying to get better, and you're going to want to make sure you don't miss it. So that's, but honestly, through the process of like running chainsaws and having the vision for this thing, it really wrapped up my whole initial idea of that experience part, and how every time in business that I've tried to create separation, it had to be something that was so unique that people would have to take notice. And I would say that this is definitely classifies as one of those things. It's a great challenge, but obviously I think a great reward for not only myself and my family, but for our community, our company, and anybody that takes part as being a Mafia member.
All right, Small Arms is back. Now we're going to shift gears, building on what Cory just talked about what is Muscle Island. So now we're going to talk about the next event. We just came off of Beats and Barbells here at the HQ, and June 28th, we got there.
Whoa, got something in here.
June 28th is the next event on Muscle Island. So we're calling it the Road to Muscle Island Summer, what we say? Summer Partying Olympics. That's what we're calling it right now. So
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. But why don't you explain?
Sounds like you got something in your mouth over there, Danny.
Yeah. Why don't you explain what this event is all about?
All right, Muscle Island Partying Olympics. Muscle Island Partying Olympics. What is it about? First off, there's, 800, 900 people that did the I Want Abs contest. It was a good success. A lot of people got great results, and now they want to party. So, hey, we're Max Effort Mafia. We got the experience part. We're about to party. That's step one. But number two, while we're partying, we should be doing cool shit and still have the ability to prepare for something, because one, Cole's making a super sick piece of swag that you'll be able to wear there looking yoked. You should envision in your mind, like, of course, if I'm doing these things and I want to be shirtless, we're going to have drone footage, Kyle, Trey, taking stuff like you're going to want to, be looking awesome in pictures. So it's like, we're trying to give you another like reason to continue to stay on the path and just keep getting better. Right. But here at the party, which once again, I'm going to frame almost more like a reunion cookout situation. I want that bitch to start at like 12 o'clock. Like you come over, we're like, it's the afternoon, sun's shining, and we're doing bench for reps, pull-ups, strict curl, which I'm pretty excited about that one. I'm going to avenge my loss to Treadway. Deadlift max, and then some drinking games if you decide you want to partake at some point. But the reality is that you could sign up for all of them. Cole, we're making some great prizes, or you could do one of them. But the reality is we want to make sure that the community can watch as they're hanging out. We're going to have music, we're going to have food, and we can battle a little bit and have a good time. And then have some great content and really just wrap it up all the way through, like, as it gets into the night. Morgan's going to be there. She's going to bring her guitar, play some songs. We'll have Dami Styles there again, staples of some of these bigger events. And, we're going to invite some other people to come pull up and have a good time. But it's like a celebration really of, everyone, I don't know, getting in the best shape of their life currently and then pursuing that all the way through June 28th. Honestly, a celebration of just the island being at that level because we'll have grass, not just dirt that's, smoothed out. We'll have a couple of these other things done. And I just really think having some events to train for. And I will have the release of the first week 1 through 3 of the Road to Muscle Island training, where it's going to be a pump 30 kind of standard, but with the things for the events. So like I'm going to do a 3-week kind of wave of pump 30 workouts that are also going to have like how you get better for the curl, how you get better for your pull-ups, how you get better for the bench, and they're going to be structured around you getting better so you can compete in the events. And it'll be 12 weeks up to the event. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm planning on competing in every one of these. That's the plan. So I'm going to train just the same as you guys should. The last week of March, we're going to have test week too. So week 0 is you test all of those things. Write them all down, maybe take a picture, and then you have a 12-week of training, and then your next retest will be on the island with us and fucking Colonel Cole yelling at you. The small arms Danny looking smaller. And then Treadway trying to beat you. It'll be fun. That enough info on that, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, kind of the idea with the trainer itself is we wanted to turn it back to the bodybuilding.com days where it was built out as a 12-week actual trainer. Yeah. So, and it being released at 3 weeks at a time, so you can like build on the last 3 weeks. Yeah. And then it's all going to be 100% free except for the actual trainer itself. So you're going to get Yep. So you'll have the diet, you'll have the conditioning piece, and then what was the other one? I guess
the supplements.
And the supplements. Yeah. So
all right, throw it back to me, Danny. Yeah. So here's the deal. This is the vision for the Road to Muscle Island. We have 12 weeks. I'm going to drop new workouts every 3 weeks. Those workouts are going to incorporate the 5 events that we are going to have during the Muscle Island event, which is bench for reps, 75 for a female, 135 for male. Pull-up reps total in 1 minute. So you could take a mini break if you need to, as many reps. Strict curl. Love that one. Deadlift max and pint chug. Shout out Guinness, because I'm going to get you as a sponsor for this. You just don't know it yet. So those are the events. Now, I'm not going to program for the Guinness chug, but we'll program for the other ones, right? And that's optional, by the way. Anyway, so not only that, we're going to throw it back to the bodybuilding.com days, back to the early days of trainers. We're going to shoot all of this stuff. And yes, what will be free is the busy diet will be free. I'm going to put that all together so you guys can just consume it on the internet. Same with the supplement plan, with the busy diet. All that so you can consume it on the internet. And then the forms on all of the things that we're going to be doing on the event. We'll put that all together so you know. The only thing you're going to have to, come and see is come over to CoryG Fitness for the actual training modules, which I think you guys will really enjoy it anyway, because there is an astronomical amount of content there. So I think that's where we're going to have that. And then at the end of the day, like, why wouldn't you come to Muscle Island, train for 12 weeks, get in the best shape of your life, come hang with the community, come try to beat Treadway in curls. I mean, I think that right there, and then talk shit to Danny. I would beat Treadway in curls and talk shit to Danny and then high five Cole. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'm just here for the moral support.
That's what you should want to do. Join the road to Muscle Island.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the perfect thing, because I've even seen people on the app, their I Want Abs contest is coming up. This is the perfect opportunity for someone who maybe, just got the momentum rolling, like they're down 10 or 15 pounds, but you don't want to stop. Like, now's the time. Don't stop. Continue to go, and then June 28th, come be shirtless at the island.
You need to treat the June 28th Road to Muscle Island like your next version of the I Want Abs contest. To Cole's point, Cole has went from 220, almost 230 pounds down to today of 183. And that did not take him only 12 weeks. Like, it was a process, right? So, like, you've got the momentum. Just say, fuck it. Here's what you need to do. Commit, register, book your fucking hotel, book your ticket, buy your fucking gas card, whatever you need if you're driving, and come to the event on June 28th and make that on your goal sheet and just keep this shit rolling. Like, that's what I'm doing. Like, I feel like, all right, it's pretty much at the end of the I Want Abs, but I'm about to go next level, and I'm going to be shirtless the whole fucking time. Like, let's get this. Pumped.
Facts.
Road to Muscle Island. Daniel?
Anything else, Danny?
No,
Danny?
I don't think so.
Danny Small.
Got any tread?
Yeah, real quick. So
Sure.
for like the Muscle Island event, we had one previously, and it was cool because we had Morgan there. Like you said earlier, it was nighttime. Can you just kind of touch on the vibe of like what it's like? Because we've experienced it with Beats and Barbells, and some people listening to this have experienced what the community feels like. But like, I don't think if you've never been here, you can fully grasp what it feels like to be part of it.
Yeah. Well, here's the best way, and I've said this to a lot of people, and I think I've probably even said it to you guys like early when you guys first started coming around me. It's like, it feels weird to actually be inside the video. You've always been watching the video, but when you come to the event, you're now taking part and you're inside of the video, and that feels awesome. Two, like, everyone that you know from Max Effort, from our skit days to like us doing content and doing the mini casts, they are those people. They're the same as when you come here. Like, it's awesome, right? And the people that you've seen on the app or seen at the events or seen the community, they are your friends. They just don't know you yet. But they have the same likes. They have the same passions. They have the same like aspirations to just get better. And we're going to then be able to have a place that is, I mean, for lack of a better word, this is going to sound like journey or grind to most people, but the night at the island felt like lightweight magical. Like, that's the best way. That's the only way. Like, it was October. We had great weather. It was unbelievable, right? The whole thing. And I believe we're setting up for a similar type of event because I think there's going to be a few hundred people. I think people are super excited about this. I'm super excited about this. And we want to share these things that we have built here in Ohio with you guys and have them be used as goals for you to aspire to get better. And there's something to be said for meeting actual like-minded people. Like everyone says that. Oh, I want to be around other people that think like me, but I understand that. But have you ever been around like 200 people like that or more from all over and all walks of life and all different, races and nationalities and jobs and all that? Like, that's what this is. And that's something I'm super proud of because everyone like already feels like they kind of know each other because it's like you're in a big commercial gym and you see one other person with a Max Effort t-shirt on and you automatically think, ooh, they probably get it. Well, the whole crowd gets it that day and it's really cool. So you should come. That's the vibe, Treadway. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that was an accurate representation.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another great episode of the AF Minicast. I'm the Graphic Gangster, Small Arms Danny, Bearded Guy Treadway, from the kitchen table, Mr. CoryG.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.